It seems that my recording stopped recording, and so we missed some of my monologue. I don't know how much I want to recapitulate, as it were. But we'll start with what we're looking at right now, because I just started into talking about the Unitarian Church of Montreal's mission statement, what we're looking at here. This is the mission statement of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. And it says, as a spiritual community, we welcome and nurture, we inspire and challenge, we take action in the world. The only problem with this mission statement is that it's totally devoid of any moral and ethical content. In other words, it doesn't say what Unitarian Universalists, or Montreal Unitarians, I should say, welcome and nurture. It doesn't say what Montreal Unitarians inspire and challenge, and it doesn't say what kind of actions they take in the world. Obviously, Montreal Unitarians could conceivably take immoral and unethical and borderline criminal and actually criminal actions in the world, and in fact they do. There's David Rollert, the husband of the minister. He's taken immoral and unethical actions in the world by erasing my chalk slogans, which protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse and Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy abuse. Looks like he's on his phone now, maybe texting, maybe calling the SPVM to try and get rid of me. He certainly tried to get rid of me, so that's one of the ways Montreal Unitarians challenge the actions that challenge. They actually challenge perfectly legitimate things like my peaceful public protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse and Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy abuse, which includes, but is by no means limited to, falsely accusing me of blasphemous libel in an effort to intimidate me into taking down blog posts that tell the readily verifiable truth about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. So David Rollert is one of the Montreal Unitarians who has participated in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of pedophilia and rape and so on. So, by the way, he's the husband of the minister, Reverend Diane Rollert, and she herself has taken action in the world which seeks to suppress the truth about Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse and so on. So like I said, you know, this mission statement, this poorly thought out mission statement, basically could apply to immoral and unethical and borderline criminal and actually criminal behavior on the part of Montreal Unitarians. So congratulations for this ridiculous mission statement. So getting back to immoral and unethical behavior and you know, other bad behavior on the part of Montreal Unitarians. You know, here we have my chalk slogan that just got erased by Shannon Horan, the daughter of David Horan, who has also watered down and erased my chalk slogans. This is at minimum immoral and unethical, you know, basically erasing chalk slogans that protest against Unitarian Universalist misuse of Canada's blasphemy law and legal bullying intended to hide pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. David Horan himself has physically assaulted me when I caught him erasing my chalk slogans and challenged him verbally about it. So as far as I'm concerned, David Horan has committed the crime of assault against me. I didn't actually press assault charges against him because it was a fairly minor assault. I wasn't really physically hurt, and I got a very nice video of David Horan attacking me and smashing my camera and pushing and shoving me and so on. So I figured that was punishment enough, as it were. But nonetheless, you know, that is essentially criminal action taken by David Horan in an immoral, unethical attempt to hide the fact that A, there's child sex abuse in the Unitarian Universalist religious community, and B, Unitarian Universalists go to extreme and foolish lengths to cover up and hide child sex abuse, because the chalk slogan that he was erasing was specifically about child sex abuse and the cover-up of child sex abuse by the Unitarian Universalist religious community. So again, I don't know how much of the previous monologue failed to get recorded, because I didn't notice that the camera had stopped recording for some reason. It shut off prematurely, and I just didn't notice the fact that it had stopped recording. But let's go back a bit and we'll talk about the main theme of today's protest. And I do want to put down some more chalk slogans, got plenty of chalk there. But before doing so, I just want to finish up this monologue and what I missed. Essentially, today, it's the 3rd of June, and this is my first protest outside the Unitarian Church of Montreal since the 1st of June, in which I celebrated the 6th anniversary of being falsely accused of the criminal act of blasphemous libel by the Unitarian Universalist Association's Canadian attorney, Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe of Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors. So that's what this paired picket sign is about. There's two picket signs that go together. It begins by saying Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape. This is an actual 100% true statement. Looks like we got David Kersoulis arriving here today. David Kersoulis, if I'm not mistaken, is a former president of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So we got David Horn and, sorry, not David Horn, we got David Rollert. David Rollert and David Kersoulis, if I'm not mistaken, two, you know, fairly prominent Montreal Unitarians who were in one way or another involved in cover-up of a variety of forms of Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse, but certainly including child sex abuse committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Sunday school teachers, etc. So anyway, getting back to things, Friday, June 1st of this year, 2018, marked the 6th anniversary of being falsely accused of the criminal act of blasphemous libel by the Unitarian Universalist Association's Canadian attorney, Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe, on Friday, June 1st of 2012. I received in my email inbox an email from Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe, which tersely said, please refer to the attached document. And it did in fact have an attached PDF file, which was basically a scan of a 2-page cease and desist demand letter drafted by Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe, or at least signed by Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe. Who knows, maybe some incompetent intern actually wrote the letter and Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe just signed his name to it. Okay, so yeah, we're still recording. I thought we stopped recording again. So anyway, so that's it. So I looked at the letter, and I actually burst out laughing in reading, you know, the first page, because it was just so ridiculous. But then I got to the second page, and it said, your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are defamatory. And then it went on to say that these allegedly unfounded and vicious allegations were so defamatory that they constituted and amounted to the criminal act of blasphemous libel against the Unitarian Universalist religious community. So essentially, Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe, on behalf of the Unitarian Universalist Association, was falsely accusing me of violating Canada's anti-blasphemy law for blog posts that do in fact tell the truth about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, such as Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell, who was charged, tried, and convicted of the forcible rape, and indeed the unnatural rape of teenage Tibetan refugees who he had lured away from their families in India with promises of a better life in America. So my chalk slogan's drying out here, but it's basically obliterated. We can thank Shannon Horan for erasing this chalk slogan, which protested against this abusive misuse of Canada's anti-blasphemy law by the Unitarian Universalist Association, as represented by Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe. So I should really get back to writing another chalk slogan or two. And I think I'll rewrite that one once it dries up, and it probably will dry up because we got a nice sunny day with a bit of a wind, a bit of a breeze. It's already dried up considerably since I first started recording here some minutes ago. So it's been 11 minutes on this segment, and I don't know exactly how many minutes it was when I first started up. The camera wasn't ready to go, which is my bad. Should have had it ready to go. But I rarely video when I'm writing the chalk slogans because that's sort of ultra boring, and there's not much point in recording the actual writing of the chalk slogans. But anyway, I think we've done a pretty good job of summarizing what today's protest is about. And it's essentially today, in addition to celebrating the 20th anniversary of beginning my protest, which began in May of 1998, and I'm celebrating that 20th anniversary throughout, the last half of May and all of June. Today, in addition to that, we're celebrating the 6th anniversary of being falsely accused of blasphemous libel by Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe. So 2 anniversaries in one today. And we shall indeed get back to the chalk slogan. So we got another older member of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. This is like one of the entrances into the church, which is one of the reasons why I put a chalk slogan down there, so that people entering the church can read about Unitarian Universalist clergy views, cover-up, and so on. They just basically ignore the protest, just pretend there's nothing wrong, and just huge amounts of psychological denial and willful ignorance on the part of Montreal Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists more generally. Anyhow, I think we're gonna wrap this up and write a couple of more chalk slogans, and then we'll restart the video once I've got a couple more chalk slogans written. But starting off today's protest with a little bit of action, as it were, by having Shannon Horan unexpectedly begin hosing down my chalk slogan before I'd even finished writing it. We'll just go back to that chalk slogan, and I'll just say one more time what it actually said before Shannon erased it with the garden hose of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So it said, Unitarians misuse Canada's blasphemy law to cover up pedophilia and rape of children. That's what it said, but you can no longer read that because Shannon Horan erased it. One of the youngest, well, not youngest, but one of the younger, youth members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. She's a long-time member. She was actually a young child, when I was attending the Unitarian Church of Montreal in the mid-90s. So she has totally ignored this protest for years now. Basically for the whole time I've been protesting, she's been a member of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. She's not only ignored this protest, but she has clearly expressed her disapproval for it on various occasions. Oh, that's cute. Almost got a bird-like shape here. Maybe it's a sign. Looks like a duck kind of thing here. This is actually kind of cute. Oh, even a two-headed kind of duck with a head on the wing. Yeah, okay, well, we're getting a little beside ourselves here, but yeah, I think most people can see that there is this sort of bird-like shape to the water that's left here, and it's kind of cute. Actually, here's a little synchronicity. I decided to wear a Baltimore Ravens hat today. So here's a Baltimore Ravens hat that I picked up at a garage sale yesterday, and the reason I'm wearing it is because there's a victim of child sex abuse in England by the name of David Lean, who is promoting what he calls Purple Summer. And he's previously had Purple Friday and Purple Christmas, and it's essentially a day dedicated to exposing and dealing with child abuse on Twitter. It's basically got a Twitter hashtag, basically hashtag Purple Summer. You'll find it. You can also search for Purple Friday and Purple Christmas for previous protests, Twitter hashtag protests. So I am wearing purple today. I've also got a purple shirt on. You can see the purple shirt here. So I'm wearing purple today, basically to help draw attention to child sex abuse committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Sunday school teachers and so on, and the cover-up and denial of child sex abuse by Unitarian Universalists. So I will be observing Purple Friday on Friday the 15th of June. But I just thought I would mention that. It's just an interesting coincidence, you know, that there was that bird shape in the water, and the fact that I'm wearing a reference to a particular bird. And this, of course, is a reference to Edgar Allan Poe's Raven. That's it for now.